are the tales of the Skeleton Warriors.
I'm Gary Goddard. I'm the creator and producer of the Skeleton Warriors television show. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the creation of the show and share with you some memories about the show. As I'm watching the title sequence, I'm remembering how we created the opening song, and that was a collaboration between myself and Ted King and Gary Gutman in our offices at Landmark. The Skeleton Warriors, I had set out to create a show that would kind of bring to life the idea of skeletons the way when I was a kid I had seen the Jason and the Argonauts, the Ray Harryhausen picture, and always it stuck with me. And then around 1993-94, my godson, Lita Lapp, was about 4 years old, and he had a fascination with skeletons. And I remember talking to him, it triggered my memory of skeletons, and I thought, well, you know what, there's an idea here, and out of that came Skeleton Warriors. Now this, the golden gleaming skull that speaks at the prologue and epilogue of every show, was, well, it actually came about because I really wanted to do the entire show in a CGI style, which would have been very breakthrough for the time. But as it turned out, CBS waited about 4 months too late to greenlight the show, and we didn't have the time to do the pre-production. So I had to settle for the fact that we do it in 2D, and that was okay, but I really wanted to have this 3D element, so we did wind up with Ron Thornton creating that kind of prologue and epilogue idea where I wanted to set up each show. This, the original show, really sets up the sibling rivalry that is at the core of the entire show, right here from frame one, basically. The idea was to create a show that would have a powerful set of characters, both villains and heroes. The skeletons, of course, so the Skeleton Warriors, are very, very strong characters. And as we wrestled with different ideas of what kind of heroes could stand up to them, we settled on family. There was a sibling rivalry. There was a family that suddenly found themselves dealing not only with the threat to the kingdom that they ruled, but the younger brother betrays them and is actually the source of all of the problems that now plague their world. So in the course of the show, they not only have to save the kingdom, but also save their younger brother. So that's a very big part of what we were trying to do with these shows. They were really, in a way, modern-day morality plays that dealt with very human emotions, but set against a very action-oriented world where anything could happen. So here, we're seeing where the younger brother, because of his own kind of blindness and his jealousy of his own brother, winds up betraying them. He doesn't knowingly betray them. He's led astray by the future Baron Dark. And he will regret his moves, and he will regret his betrayal. And in that regret, we find the core idea for the show and for the story arcs, which is that Joshua becomes Grimskull, the character who has 1 foot in the light and 1 foot in the dark, part human, part skeleton. And his quest is to find a way back. And of course he'll need his brother and his sister and his uncle, power of family, to help get there. So a lot of time was spent on character development, as you can see here. Back one moment to the golden gleaming skull that has the prologue and epilogue of the show. I had wanted to do this show originally as a CGI show, completely animated, which would have been very innovative for that time. And due to CBS waiting 4 months to give us an approval, we didn't have the time to do the pre-production. But I worked out this idea, and Ron Thornton and his company, who had done work for me on Captain Power, we were able to create this epilogue and prologue, which I think hints at the kind of animation quality that we would have had we had the time from the time we got greenlit to do the show. So now back to the story that's unfolding. The Light Star is at the center of things in Luminaire, and through Joshua's betrayal. He has indirectly, or actually directly, allowed Baron Dark to have access to the Light Star Crystal. And now everything changes at this moment. And as this happens, not only will the kingdom be changed forever, but our heroes will be changed forever, our villains will be changed forever, and everything is set in motion with this attempt to steal the Light Star Crystal. The ensuing battle here will split the crystal. The energy of the crystal will cause a whole sequence of things that will affect the kingdom. And equally important, the crystal will amplify, magnify the inherent good or bad in each of the people at this particular pivotal moment. So what you're seeing now is the crystal as it has its effect on each of these key people, and with the Light Star Crystal gone now, the city beginning to basically not disintegrate, but certainly everything goes haywire. Everything goes out of balance. The world is going to be thrown into chaos, and now our characters are going to find themselves with some surprising changes.
What was that?
Baron Dark, realizing he has been transformed.
Look, it can't be. Yet I live.
He has been transformed into a physical manifestation of his true self.
Become.
Joshua, are you...
And Joshua has also been transformed. Half human, half skeleton, representing his character. And Baron Dark is going to also have, or discover that he has yet another power. And not only is he a skeleton, but he will now have the ability, through that Light Star transformation, the Light Star Crystal, to change others.
Yes! Interesting day, Baron?
Indeed, Doctor. The bad news is I was only able to retrieve...
Each of the skeleton warriors, as you can see, has his or her own personality and character. Each one had his or her own particular traits, and those traits will stick with them as Baron Dark discovers this unique power that he has.
Perhaps it sensed the depravity of your character. Ow!
This is no time for games. I have felt the power of half the Light Star Crystal. The other half awaits us. Join me, Dr. Skyborn, and know the dark joy of the crystal.
So now the first transformation.
The darkness. Baron, the glorious darkness!
And now each of the minions anxious to be transformed.
Eager for your master's evil touch. Oracular, answer my call to arms. And you, fair shriek, shall add a woman's touch to my invincible arm. Now,
They all laugh every time they're transformed.
darkness, soon all of creation shall be ours! Ours!
Well, initial reports.
So the kingdom is in chaos. The parents are gone. The young prince must somehow find the way to rule. His sister there to aid him, and then of course Joshua, the younger brother, in a condition. And our other two heroes haven't discovered that they have powers of their own. Here is the sibling rivalry in a nutshell.
Us since the day you were born. Why aren't you out there waving your royal ring at everyone? Or does real responsibility terrify you?
What's this to get back at me?
So I think it's interesting because our stories are very strong for a Saturday morning show.
While I fail our people. Take a look.
And now is when our family discovers their powers, and it will take their uncle to explain it all. The show was interesting because we really tried to give it a level of dramatic storytelling that was, I think, a cut above the normal Saturday morning show. And we also had a great team of designers working on it. We had people like Neil Adams, who worked with me on the character design. We had Greg Pro, Claudio Mazzoli, Luke Mayrand, all of them very talented designers in their own right. Luke now works with Disney and theme park design. And Neil Adams, of course, from the comic book world. Greg Pro, an illustrator that's done great work for me for over 20 years, and for Disney, Universal, everyone. Very talented team of designers that set the tone for the show. Dramatically, we had a great team of writers who took this idea that I suggested, this idea of each story being a morality tale of some kind, and really ran with it under very intense timing and scheduling deadlines. Again, because of the lateness with which we got the approvals. But of course, we had our quotient of action, and this is a good example of the action sequences. And of course, our characters are just starting to come into their own powers and understanding of their powers.
Don't stop! Don't stop! Get to the castle!
The dramatic narrative is set fairly strongly here as they confront themselves, as they confront each other for the first
I
time.
don't think these powers are all they're cracked up to be.
How thoughtful of you to give me the pleasure of your annihilation!
Stop right there, Baron. You betrayed me.
You speak to me of betrayal, second son. Look what your misplaced pride has cost you. So desperate to rule.
Again.
And now all that remains is a ruin of your own making. Your heart is like mine. Come with me.
Morality tale. Josh caught in the middle.
No, Josh, don't! My power.
You can no longer corrupt me.
But I can destroy you.
And so establishing Josh's ability to move through the shadows, because that's where he is. 1 foot in the light, 1 foot in the darkness. And Justin and Jennifer
Neither do I.
coming into an understanding of their own powers, and then coming to the realization they have to work together.
Walk through the shadows.
Then why don't we remember?
No time to wonder now. Let's get out of here.
But where can we go?
One hope. Family.
My brother had always relied too heavily on that crystal. The whole country has for centuries. We'd be better off if we'd never bothered to get it back.
Get it back from whom, Uncle Ursak? We've always had the Light Star Crystal.
Shows they don't teach enough in school these days. Long ago, forces of darkness held it, and our people had a nasty time getting it back. There's a legend that a portion of the stone was chipped, and the energy that was unleashed affected the warrior nearest it in a manner none had ever seen before.
So now, the uncle knows the old ways. He also knew, obviously, his brother, the father. And he will bring that element to the group that will help them bind together and work together to ultimately overcome the power of Baron Dark and his skeleton warriors.
Remains of the crystal aren't here. Those royal brats must have...
So as of this show, all the fundamental elements are put together. It's really, truly an origin show. And more importantly, it sets up the whole idea that I really wanted to get across in every one of these shows, which was for the audience member to see that there are major stakes in play, and that the choices people make either help to solve the problem or to make the problem worse. Basically, we have these huge challenges, and by the choices we make, are we going to be part of the cure or part of the problem? And that was really at the essence of every one of our shows.
No!
We must not underestimate the
So to me, That was the real key to this show, that the audience, the kids, and the adults, anyone that watched it, would see that the choices we make, small choices sometimes, large choices other times, these decisions we make affect the outcome of things, to the positive or to the negative. And I want everyone to kind of get that from this show.
It's there. Emergency shield generator interface there.
They'll be here in less than a minute.
Josh, Jen, grab me some polarizers out of that cabinet. Load, lock, and put them out by the ports while Justin helps me adjust the energy shields.
We also wanted the kids to identify with the power and strength of the family. So it wasn't just about their superpowers that they've been granted because of the power of the Light Star Crystal. And we also established this connection that Grimskull has.
The powers shall be
Mine! That's it, young prince. Let the shadow darkness.
And this was important because we wanted to know.
Battery 5, take the gun only.
We wanted to know that Grimskull still had to fight against this this connection that he has with the dark and with Baron Dark and with the darkness itself.
Beyond doubt, you must believe in yourself to overcome his influence.
Unidentified airborne craft overhead.
Rise and lock.
So we had an action show, as you can see, but we had a show that really wanted to say that the winning of a battle was not just the physical prowess. It was the power of each of their moral character and the family unit that gave them the strength to fight, even when the odds became quite stacked against them.
Achieved immortality!
And here we see the final part of the Skeleton Warriors, the ultimate weapon, that they theoretically cannot be destroyed. They get blasted apart, they will rejoin again, and they'll just keep fighting. During the making of the show, the schedules were very intense. All of the music, sound effects, all the final mixing were done right in the Landmark offices. The animation was coming in pieces. As the pieces came in, it would be edited quickly into a sequence. The sequence would be scored, the effects would be set, and all of these pieces would be kept until the final visual was in, and then everything was mixed very rapidly in one session. I believe it was every Friday. And it was an amazing challenge for our team to. It was James Felden doing the sound and mixing, and Ted King supervising, and Susan Blue getting us the voice performances, and Gary Gutman composing the music, and all of us would come together every week. And it was quite challenging. And I think if you compare this show to others, you'll see that the soundtrack, the sound effects, much more complex and layered than any of the other shows at the time. And remember, this is before digital technology, so everything's being done with tape systems, and it was quite complicated. But we aimed high, and we wanted this show to be the best it could be on every level.
Uncle Ursak, they're too powerful. We need to find a way out of here.
I'm afraid you're right. I guess it's time to blow the roof off this place.
But how?
Leave that to me. Get your sister. Now!
15 seconds to self-destruct. Are you sure this is wise?
The Light Star! We must find it quickly!
Jen, hurry.
A lot of action. I'm being reminded of how much action there is. And yet, I think it's the dramatic storyline that really carries the day. And, of course, that's no surprise. That's what it takes to make a great show of any kind, animated live action. But we really tried to balance the action with the drama. And here's the kind of classic naming of the heroes in their new identities.
We must do everything in our power to protect your half of the Light Star Crystal, even if it means our lives. And we must recover the Baron Dark's half soon. While he possesses it, he wields a terrible weapon.
But how, Uncle? How do we stop creatures who can't be hurt?
By using the powers the Light Star Crystal has bestowed upon you. By becoming the Warriors of the Light. It is your destiny.
But there's only the 3 of us against...
4 of us, nephew. From this day forth, you are all more than you were before. Justin, with the fire of the crystal in your blood, you are now Prince Lightstar. Jennifer, because the crystal has given you the ability to fly, your new name shall be...
Here is where they all really become one with the crystal, with the Lightstar, and accept their roles, and where Joshua learns that he has to bear the pain of his actions, just as it was said, and he has to really earn his way back. And he's going to be struggling the entire time with this one foot in the dark, one foot in the light.
That suits me.
And you, Uncle, shall be named Guardian.
But as you can see, there's really an emphasis on the family and all of them working together.
So little time.
This entire saga over the 13 episodes, actually, while each show was complete in and of itself, was part of a larger story. And we had hoped to carry that story on into future episodes as well. And ultimately, the Lightstar would be rejoined, and at that point, the kingdom would be resolved again, and yet Baron Dark and his skeleton warriors would still be there, and the show would take another turn at that point. Here's the golden skull giving us the epilogue. In this case, and setting up the ongoing saga. He was voiced by Tony Jay, a fantastic actor that I think gave gravitas to all of the shows, and it was a great way to open and close every episode. And as I said earlier, it hints at what the show would have been had we been able to do the entire show in CGI. And I hope that maybe we'll get a shot at doing that, actually, now that I've been seeing these shows again. So stay in touch, stay tuned. Thanks for watching.